Mercy Brown was a young woman from New England who died in the late 1800s, at the age of 19, from tuberculosis, a disease known at the time as consumption. Suspecting that she was a vampire spreading the disease, the townspeople exhumed her body. To their shock, the body didn't show signs of decomposition. Was Mercy Brown really a vampire? Or was this just a case of mass hysteria caused by superstition? The family of George and Mary Brown from Exeter, Rhode Island, suffered a sequence of tuberculosis infections in the final 2 decades of the 19th century. Just 6 months after the death of Mary Brown, in 1883, their 20-year-old daughter, Mary Olive, succumbed to consumption. On January 19, 1892, the disease also took 19-year-old Mercy Lena Brown after battling the disease for over a year. Around that time, her brother Edwin Brown started to lose the battle with the same condition, after nearly 2 years of being affected by it. With medical science failing to help Edwin, the residents of Exeter turned to the supernatural in a desperate attempt to save his life. Suspecting that a vampire was involved in the spread of the disease, they persuaded George Brown to let them exhume the bodies of the deceased members of his family. The bodies of his wife Mary and his daughter Mary Olive were, as expected, reduced to mere bones. But then they turned their attention to Mercy, who had died 2 months earlier. When they opened her coffin, her body was found on her side. Her face appeared flush, and there was blood in her heart and in her veins. Convinced she was a vampire, they cut out her heart and liver and cremated them. They mixed the organ's ashes with water and gave the concoction to Edwin. But that did not help him. He passed away months later, on May 2, 1892, at the age of 24. Harold Metcalf, a local doctor, explained at the time that the lack of decomposition in Mercy's body was caused by how recent she had died and the cold weather during the time she was in her coffin. Tuberculosis passed easily between people in close quarters, which is why it tended to sweep through entire families such as the Browns. The disease was not understood at the time. That's why people believed it was of supernatural origin. We don't think that there's enough evidence to support the theory that Mercy Brown was a vampire. In fact, it appears like it was just a case of mass hysteria and superstition. Then again, there could be important parts of the story that could have been left out, or additional evidence that was overlooked or even ignored. But until more evidence on this case resurfaces, we are not convinced that Mercy Brown was a vampire. What do you think about this case? Was Mercy Brown really a vampire? Or was she another victim of ignorance and superstition?